For all his insistence they hit the road immediately, Ash wasn't anywhere to be found when Hazel returned to the cafe. Maybe he expected her to come up to his place? Annoyance flared. She didn't even have his number, or she'd have texted him to come down. Grumbling that they hadn't agreed on this white-glove front-door concierge service, she marched up the stairs to his door, through which loud, bassy music thrummed. When she knocked, it swung open from the force of her fist. God, why couldn't he just be ready? Why did she have to debate whether to let herself in like some nosy creeper or stand awkwardly in the hall until he graced her with his presence? She pressed her cheek to the door jamb, peeking into his apartment. His place was small. The music was coming from a wireless speaker on the coffee table. He had a futon, a standing lamp, a tiny TV. A kitchenette occupied the far left corner of the room, and a bed took up the back right. A standing rack partially divided the sleeping area from the living area. All his dress shirts and slacks, as well as his collection of whimsical ties, hanging perfectly spaced. Over the music, she could hear water running behind the only door in the place. The bathroom, she guessed. "I hope you're decent because I'm coming in," she announced, waiting a few seconds before she crossed the threshold. All around the room, wooden models of buildings cluttered what little space was left. She crouched for a closer look at the one on the coffee table. Its front opened like a dollhouse. The long, ranch-style home had wooden shingles on the roof and a pebble-fronted fireplace inside. In a pink and purple room with a bed and a toothpick crib, tiny childlike art hung on the walls. A cotton ball beanbag chair sat in the corner. Every room was furnished, down to rugs made of patterned fabric and stamp-sized framed portraits. The next model, between Ash's futon and a bookcase, jolted her with recognition. Its lower level was full of fake plants and cafe tables, a newspaper-strewn farm table, her green wingback chair. Ash had recreated his own apartment in the loft with mind-boggling detail. He'd painted everything nearly the same colors of their real-life counterparts, stacked tiny books on the coffee table, hung a gray dish towel over the top of a kitchen cabinet, just as one hung there now in reality. Hazel was squinting at the picture on the mini bedside table when the door opened right behind her. A yelp, "Jesus fuck!" pierced through the music. She ducked and covered, emitting her own strangled sound of surprise, then twisted around to find Ash clutching a toiletries bag to his chest and gripping the knob of the bathroom door. Hazel slapped her hand over her mouth to stop a laugh. It came out as a giggle, and then a loud snort, which made her laugh harder. "That sound! I thought you were a little girl with a filthy mouth." He huffed. "I didn't know you were here." "I knocked." Another wave of mirth spilled over as he frowned deeply and leaned against the doorframe, his jaw tight. "I called out. Your door latch sucks, by the way. It swung right open." "And you came right in." She turned off the speaker. "Maybe if you had this at a normal volume, you would have heard me. Or if you were ready on time after demanding that I was ready. I just wanted to brush my teeth." "Aw," Hazel deadpanned. "For me?" "Anyway," he said with put-on weariness. He strode past her to stuff his toiletries into the duffel by the door. He was dressed but freshly showered, hair still damp. The scent of his soap wafted out with the humid air from the bathroom. Hazel hated that she wanted to rub like a cat into the source of that fresh, earthy lemongrass smell. After carefully lowering the ranch house model into a large box, Ash held it under one arm, grabbed his sweatshirt and duffel, and nudged her ahead of him into the hall. Downstairs, he cut a wordless detour through the cafe to pour to-go cups of coffee and stick 2 blueberry muffins into a bag. Then they were off. Or they would have been. But before she could pull out, Ash objected to the route Hazel had chosen. He didn't trust Google Maps and claimed perpetual freeway construction would add at least a half hour to her route on top of holiday traffic. Hazel had never made the drive back after moving here, so she had no clue if he was right. "There won't be that many holiday travelers," she said. "Christmas isn't for a week." "But all the schools just got out." "Well," Hazel said, reselecting her original route and setting her phone into the cradle on the dash.